Hi everyone, I'm Ken from Crypto Trading KS. If you're new, a very warm welcome and welcome back CTKS family. Here you'll learn how to become fearless in financial markets to assist you to become more of a financial and emotional blessing to yourself and those you love. This video is really special. We're going to look at projections for Bitcoin, the S&P 500, and most importantly, you. You'll find the information inside this video to be incredibly valuable and perhaps life-changing. If you like the content, please subscribe to the channel and smash that like button. All indicators that I use in the daily videos come from the service at ctksmethod.org. Let's run the numbers. "2023 has been a fantastic year, and Kate and I are so appreciative of you tuning in and joining us and being a part of our global family. You're just awesome. Let's have a look at Bitcoin and where Bitcoin could be going. This video is all about projections on Bitcoin, the S&P 500, and most importantly, you. There's a very special Positive Excellence episode at the end of this video, and we took literally all day, Kate and I, to do it. Because we love you. We want you to be successful. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin has a massive amount of structural support from 39,170 to 41,718. This is very, very strong structural support. Also, this area from 35,191 to 36,075 is really terrific. There's so much strength inside these areas. You can see if we zoom in here, let's have a look. If we zoom in here, we can see that even though there was negative price momentum inside here, this structural support has held up incredibly well. Ooh, and talking about structural support and structural resistance levels, I have a very special gift for people who have not done the masterclass. My very special gift to you is a near total scholarship for both Level 1 and Level 2 CTKS Method Standard Certification. Level 1 and Level 2 Standard Certification combine to create the world's most powerful buy and sell level detection system. Level 1 is all about the foundations. You'll learn the basics on how and the foundations of how to interpret charts, what to look for, and how to put the foundations together. You'll also get a certificate of completion. Building on, Level 1 is Level 2 Standard Certification, which is where the rubber hits the road. This is where you form those SLs and SCs and interpret how price moves from SL to SL. It's incredibly powerful, and you can see there's a bit in it. It looks like it's a really easy thing to just draw a horizontal line, but you'll find there's a whole scientific process underpinning it. Just a quick reminder. Please tell your family and friends if you would like them to participate in this near total scholarship. All they need to do is to subscribe and watch 3+ videos before episode 1000. And then find one rule from each video, noting the timestamp and what the rule is and the URL. Then just directly message me on X/Twitter with your 3+ rules and 3+ stamp links. Timestamp links. Bonus points if you do more than 3. And just a quick note, this ends midnight on New Year's Eve, US time. If you're interested, please act as quickly as possible so as to avoid disappointment. You'll find that drawing up those SLs or Stanfield levels, and in the words of Perperatum, is a license to be successful in trading and investing. And the cheat sheet is the cheat sheet. By learning the CTKS method, you can mark up your own charts. Please make sure that you set them to log, and also make sure that you do UTC -5. Steve and Mary Allen have been wildly successful with the SLs. Institutions love playing a lot of games with retail. They are likely not to approve the Bitcoin spot ETF when everybody thinks it should be approved. That will cause widespread panic. And that means the prices would come down. Who would be taking advantage of prices when they come down? Well, we would be, for one. We'd be making sure that we know the structure inside Bitcoin and how strong the different levels are. We would also be making sure that we manage our risk on the way down and on the way up. We have our X-ray vision. We know where the structural support is inside the market. As I was explaining in a previous video, about a worst case scenario is the 24,302 to the 26,030 level. One thing to just bear in mind, this specific level between 35,191 and 36,075, and this one above it right here at 39,170 up to 41,718. These are incredibly super strong structural resistance levels. When you understand level 1 and level 2 standard certification, you don't see levels as having the same strength. They do not. Some are weak, some are incredibly strong. But it's very simple to understand price behavior. If we drop out of this level, we're heading to this one. If we drop out of this, we're heading to this one. If we maintain that as support, we're going back here. It's so easy to understand what can happen. Now let's go the other way and say the spot Bitcoin ETF is approved as expected. Wow, look at that. What we're seeing, the current price of Bitcoin is 42,541. There is quite a substantial amount of structural resistance from 46,187 to 46,818. And these resistance levels will change due to objective dynamic market structure, or ODMS. This means that as we move into 2024, all these levels will move around. I mentioned that this is a particularly strong structural resistance level. You can see how strong it is. Bitcoin has not even had the opportunity to get in there. And this is a thing that a lot of people don't realize. Not all structural resistance and structural supports are created equal. In fact, they're very unequal. And if we have a look and bypass that 46,600 mark, where is the next area? There is structural resistance inside this area. It's not necessarily just a fresh air gap fill. They are scattered, but they're not so bad. But the really critical resistance inside the market is 61,848 to 73,915. A lot of people will think the price will just come up and just keep on going up. That's not the way things work. Structural resistance always plays into price action. This is something we must be aware of. We know that all markets are intercorrelated and interdependent. If we look at the S&P 500, the projections for 2024 range primarily between 4,500 and 5,100. We can see that the big guys are basically saying this structural level they expect to be the end of the 2024 bull run. And this structural support, they expect that to hold price. And we can see that there's a lot of structural support underneath that area. There's also a big fresh air gap right there, so these guys could all be wrong. They may just be far too conservative. We can see so far throughout December this particular area of structural resistance drawn in through the CTKS method from 47.72 to 48.21 has held back price substantially. If we just zoom into this area, we can see just how bad it is. That structural resistance has held price back horrendously. Price tried to get up through here but has had little success. It is trying, without question, it is trying. And if it manages to get above, wow, that's fantastic. But it's there and we must be aware of it. All the markets are intercorrelated and interdependent. If the S&P moves up, you're going to find that over the long term, everything is going to move up. There's going to be mass optimism inside the markets. And if there's a humongous sell-off inside the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, the Russell, that will cause widespread panic, which will go across to crypto. Please be aware of these intercorrelations and interdependencies. Please let me know in the comments, where do you think Bitcoin is headed to next? And how do you think it's going to fare up next year? And what about the S&P 500? That's pretty important to look at as well. No matter what you do, always remember you control the trade or investment, but the market controls the return. If you know the structural support and resistance levels, if you've done your three-dimensional risk management, if you've done the cheat sheet, if you're keeping your mind positive, you can act on opportunities. This brings us to a really important part of the video and an area that I and Kate just adore. It's all about mindset. People want to be rich and famous and all sorts of things because of how they think they will feel. What if I said that you can feel that way right now, before all of that? If you do so, you'll just attract it into your life. I'll explain how. As we enter 2024, you have the opportunity to be all that you can be, to have a happy new you. This video could change your life forever. Many people are miserable and they don't know how to fix it. They think happiness is tied to external things like money, relationships, health, friendships, work, houses, car, jewelry, body size, body type, beauty, and more. Actually, the cure for misery, unhappiness, anxiety, and depression requires internal solutions. It requires a change of thinking. This change in thinking comes more easily when we understand that the rain falls on everyone, the just and the unjust alike. Sometimes that rain is like a light shower, like being cut off when driving or people being rude, and sometimes life gives you a tsunami, like a life-threatening health diagnosis or a loss of a loved one. It's easy to internalize these things, but we must keep the circumstances separate from ourselves. Unfavorable circumstances impact everyone. No one can escape them. It's very important not to be defined by your problems. We all have problems. When we understand the true purpose of problems, we can turn setbacks into set-ups. In life, there's no step backwards without 2 steps forwards. Unfavorable circumstances are to be externalized, not internalized. Misery, depression, and sadness originate from internalized problems and losses. This internalization is set up like a self-torture chamber where reliving bad experiences disempowers the person through replaying adverse circumstances over and over again. Each adverse circumstances, losses, setbacks, disappointments, conflict, not getting what you want, has actually the seeds of happiness, meaning, success, and progress. This is a counterintuitive way of living, but it's one that will make you incredibly happy. You will require strength to convert a problem into understanding. Many people try to solve problems. You don't want to solve them, you want to understand them. Understanding requires an enhanced positive mindset, a literal different way of thinking. Understanding is far more important than solutions. Unfavorable circumstances, hardships can make us strong, happy, and grateful if they are learned from and not internalized. There's a way that you can kickstart this enhanced positive mindset. Just see every day as your best day. When you wake up, say to yourself, this day will be an awesome day filled with happiness, progress, and success. Happiness is not a feeling, it's a decision. Decide to allow yourself to be happy, grateful, mature, kind, and strong. Don't focus on losses. Don't focus on what's not going right in your life at the moment. Be thankful for what you have right now, who you are right now, your health right now, your finances, your possessions right now. This material world urges us to get more and not be satisfied with what we have already. This is a definite way to create misery in life. There is no need to compare yourself with anyone else. You are totally unique and special already. Your success never diminishes other people's success, and other people's success never is your loss. When we forget that we're unique, we fall into competition through comparison. Comparison and competition will always make you unhappy. If we don't have or get what others have or get, we feel inferior and not good enough. Competition, by its very nature, creates unhappiness, anxiety, and even depression. because we feel like we're just not enough. We should be further progressed and we're not living up to our potential. There is no need to compete with anyone. Simply be the best you that you can be. Unfortunately, the human race has not been educated on how to deal with setbacks. We tend to deal with setbacks with anger rather than understanding. We tend to solve problems rather than to try to understand how to be different in our thinking. Albert Einstein famously said, "You cannot solve the problems that you create because the level that you created that problem at will not solve that problem. It created that problem. You have to move to a different level of thinking," and he's definitely correct. You can become all you can be, live your best life, be kinder to yourself and others, and focus on improving the next time. It's important to understand you cannot have a positive and successful life thinking from a place of negativity and scarcity. Nature is abundant, and so too is life. Scarcity comes from survival-based thinking. Abundance comes from learning-based thinking. The two are polar opposites. Blaming others is always a mark of survival-based thinking. Blame disempowers, causing a victim mentality. Through blame and its cousin guilt, we relive hardships, causing feelings of bitterness, anxiety, depression, loneliness, hurt, and pain. Negative circumstances are not to be relived, they're to be learned from. You are already more than enough. You are not deficient in any way. You don't have to become anything except the best version of yourself. You only need to observe and learn. Learning from losses, bad breaks, and setbacks gives you a level up to unlock strength and wisdom. As your strength grows, so too does your gratitude and happiness. Happy people have gratitude. And being grateful is very easy. Just find the joy and happiness in who you are now and what you have now. How do we show more gratitude in life? Again, that's pretty easy as well. Gratitude is just active appreciation, thankfulness, and kindness. Gratitude is as simple as calling someone by their name or just smiling. But gratitude should always be genuine. Gratitude focuses on recognizing the good in what we have already and communicating it internally to ourselves and externally through appreciation. Gratitude reframes adverse circumstances into strength-gaining lessons. The opposite of gratitude is entitlement, where things are demanded and expected, focusing on what we didn't get. It's kind of like the donut and the hole. When you have gratitude, you can see the donut. When you have entitlement, you say, "How dare there be a hole in thy donut?" Entitlement is really tricky and very sinister. It makes us complain, find fault in others, criticize, be bitter, angry, depressed, moody, and discouraged. Of course, that is not the best thing to be around. If you know someone who does that, you're more likely to go to the happy person than the miserable one. With an entitled attitude, we force success and people away from us. With a grateful attitude, we attract success and the right people towards us. Knowing that the rain falls on the just and unjust alike, it's important not to replay negatives. Refrain from reliving past hurts and disappointments. You are not and never were the victim of circumstances. Circumstances cannot defeat you. When you have a learning attitude, circumstances simply give you the strength for the next life rally. The secret is to look forward with gratitude. Today is going to be a great day. Each day is literally a gift, a chance to think differently and create a learning mindset. Gratitude changes your thinking to happiness, empowerment, and strength. You'll need to use your willpower to decide to be happy. The very word decision is an important one here. Decide means to cut off from alternatives. If you decide to be happy, you're making a stand. You're saying, "I will be happy." That's it. It's also important to permit yourself to be satisfied and grateful. Unfortunately, so many people were raised by people engaging in survival-based thinking. parents simply pass down that method of thinking to their children. Learning-based thinking is something completely different. Survival-based thinking says there's a never ever enough. You just can't get ahead in life. Someone's going to come at you and smash you down. Or if it's not a person, it's life. This is actually untrue. We have to be very careful of the mind, because if the mind is expecting things, it will draw those things to it. If we don't focus on scarcity and survival, if we focus on learning and being the best version of ourselves, the entire world changes. Losses and setbacks are viewed completely differently. If you're not earning enough money, you look at it differently and say, how is my mindset preventing me from having the life that I've always dreamt of? If the mindset is based out of survival, survival is all the mindset can create. Therefore, we are not victims of circumstances. Circumstances cannot defeat you. It is utterly possible to have the life that you've always dreamt of, but you may require an adjustment to your thinking. Many people think that happiness will arrive on their doorstep. It doesn't arrive. You have to decide to be happy right now. A beautiful way to start to do that is just to appreciate and love those around you. Be thankful that they are in your life. Seek to become independent of your circumstances with a learning mindset. Say each and every day, I choose to be happy today. Today is going to be a great day. When you look around, don't try to find fault or criticize others. See the good and be grateful. Living a disempowered and discouraged life is completely unnecessary. Seek to be kind to yourself and others. Avoid blame and criticism at all costs. Focus on living from a learning-based mindset. As you enter the new year, know that a new you is possible. At this time of year, we have so many New Year's resolutions. Just perhaps only have one, to be the best you that you can be. To start each day with gratitude and happiness, and just keep a tab on how your life improves, and please let us know. All you need to do is to embrace learning-based thinking to become all that you were destined to become and live a life of happiness and meaning. Here's to 2024, my friends, the best year yet. Kate and I are so grateful to share this time with you and wish you all the very best in the year ahead. We look forward to catching up with you again in the next video.
Happy New Year, everyone!
And Happy New Year! Much love to you and your loved ones from Kate and myself. Bye for now.